Hello, my poor idealistic friends. Now I'm going to tell you a story. But this is no ordinary story. You know, one of those that start with, everyone is equal, but some are even more equal. You will hear the tragicomic story of how the dream of equality blossomed among farm animals and then turned into manure. Fasten your seatbelts, because on this journey, we're going to wade through a lot of mud. Let's start with this question. Why does a society feel the need for a revolution? Is it for justice and equality? Or simply to pave the way for new tyrants? First someone shouts, "Stop oppression!" Then rebellion starts and revolution happens. That's how it all started on this farm. There was oppression, repression, no freedom, and then there was a revolution. And you know what happened? Things got much worse than before. Anyway, let's not beat around the bush. Let's tell this famous story from Orwell's pen. It will be very familiar to you for sure. Introducing Manor Farm. The name sounds cool, but it's actually a 5-star misery camp for animals. The owner of the farm is Mr. Jones. He's a visionary who specializes in getting drunk rather than farming. And the animals? They're just a bunch of wretches working for peanuts, despised, at the mercy of a two-legged tyrant. Me? I'm Moses, the philosopher Crow, watching from the skies over this chaotic world. I don't crawl on the ground like you. Anyway, let's get to the incident that sparked our story. It all started with the famous dream that the farm's old but highly respected pig, Big Reese, had. One morning, the old man shouted, "I have important news! Everyone listen to me!" And of course, everyone gathered around. Everyone was very curious and quiet. The big chief squinted at them. Who is it that starves us, makes money off our backs, makes us work and finally torments us? Humans. Friends, comrades, I had a dream where every morsel is ours. A free and happy farm where there are no people. All the animals suddenly began to growl furiously. Sheep bleated in support. Chickens flapped their wings. Dogs bared their teeth, because every one of them knew these words were true. Big Chief continued, "Without people, we can have everything. Our hay, our grain, our milk, our freedom. But for that, we must first stand up. If we are united, we will end this oppression." Then the old man broke into the famous song, a tune forgotten years ago. Animals of England and Ireland, animals of all countries, of all climes, hear the best of glad tidings. The golden age we dreamed of is before us. The animals joined in. The voice rose and echoed. That night, with a spark in everyone's eyes, the seeds of revolution were sown. How naive, isn't it? Of course, every good dream has an end. Big Chief died not long after. He left a legacy of hope and a handful of slogans. The leadership seat was left vacant, so the farm's two brilliant pigs jumped on the scene. Napoleon, the cunning and soft-spoken one, and Snowball, the fiery and opinionated one. They took Big Chief's ideas, polished them up a bit, and called it animalism. Cool name, right? They gathered all the animals and planned their rebellion. And the moment came. One night when Mr. Jones came in drunk again and tried to starve the animals, the knife came to the bone. First, the cows started grumbling. Then the chickens struggled. The horses waited patiently. But the hunger grew and grew like an avalanche. Doors broke down, coops emptied, Animals ran into the haystacks. Sacks were torn. Jones and his men came with sticks and rifles, but in vain. Anger had long since erased fear. Our big horse boxer threw a shot and a man flew like a bird. Dogs showed teeth. Cats scratched. Total chaos. Jones? He and his men ran out of the farm for their lives. The farm was now your livestock. Oh, I'll never forget that moment. History was made in blood and nails that night. The animals had won. Mr. Jones was no more. When Mr. Jones and the ranch were kicked out, it was a celebration. It was good to be drunk with victory, but order was needed. Who will run the farm now? Of course, our two pigs, Napoleon and Snowball. They even designed a new flag. They wrote a new constitution. The 7 commandments carved in big letters on the wall of the barn. Anyone who walks on 2 legs is an enemy. Anyone who walks on 4 legs and has wings is a friend. No animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep on a bed. No animal shall drink. No animal shall kill another animal. All animals are equal equality. No way, my eyes have seen a lot. On the very first morning, freshly milked milk and the best apples were already in the pigs' stomachs, saying, "It is essential for our brain health. We are thinking for you." I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes, but no one made a sound. In the beginning, things were not bad. The harvest was bountiful. The animals were proud. They were working, but for themselves. But what happens when there are 2 leaders? A power struggle begins. Power likes one person. It doesn't like sharing. Our Snowball was full of brilliant ideas. He started a literacy campaign. He also came up with a windmill project. Electricity would come. Work would be reduced. The animals loved the idea, of course. But Napoleon was watching him uneasily. At one point, Jones tried to take back the farm, but thanks to Snowball's intelligence and tactics, he was once again defeated and escaped again. Snowball was declared a hero, given a medal and everything. Napoleon, of course, was in a bad mood. He was secretly feeding and raising puppies taken from their mothers. He was building his own private army without anyone noticing. The cunning pig. And one morning, the wind changed. Just as the vote for the windmill was about to take place, those fierce dogs Napoleon had trained showed up. They attacked Snowball. He barely escaped with his life and ran away from the farm. He was never seen again. That's a farm-style military coup for you. Suddenly, the farm was just someone's. Napoleon gathered the animals and said just a few words. "No more meetings. I will make the decisions. I am the leader." Is that clear? No one spoke. The Empire of Fear was officially established. Napoleon's chief propagandist, the quick-witted Squealer, now took the stage. He explained that Snowball had been a traitor all along, that the idea of the windmill was Napoleon's, and so on. What could our gullible animals do? They believed him. Under Napoleon, working hours increased. Portions of food became smaller, but Squealer kept coming up with statistics. He kept saying that everything was actually much better than under Jones. The windmill was built, Snowball's treacherous project. Then it collapsed in a storm. Whose fault was that? Snowball, of course. The traitor was everywhere. Crops failing. Snowball. The machine broke down. Snowball. He was a very useful scapegoat. Meanwhile, our equal pigs moved into Jones's house, started sleeping on beds and drinking whiskey, while the animals worked in harsher conditions than before. The pigs lived in abundance in Jones's house. Well, leadership was hard work. Their brains were getting tired. The 7 commandments in the barn were secretly changed. "No animal shall sleep in a bed" was replaced with "No animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets," and "No animal shall kill another animal" was replaced with "No animal shall kill another animal for no reason." They even started trading with humans. You know, the two-legged enemies. The animals were surprised, but Squealer explained again, for your own good. And then Boxer. Boxer, the most loyal, hardest-working soldier on the farm. I'll work harder, and Napoleon is always right. The poor guy never knew anything else. When he got old and lame, what do you think Napoleon did to him? He said, "We're sending him to the best vet." So, what was written on the truck that arrived? Alfred Simmons, horse butcher and glue manufacturer. Some of the animals understood, but it was too late. Squealer came on stage again, telling and telling with crocodile tears. It turned out that the truck belonged to the hospital. It was a sign from the previous owner. Blah, blah, blah. Did the guys believe him? Maybe they wanted to believe him. The laughter and whiskey bottle noises coming from the pig's house that night were actually telling us where Boxer's sale money had gone. Sad, but true. Days followed days, years followed years. The pigs now walked completely on two legs and led the other animals with whips in their hands. They wore Jones' clothes and smoked his pipe. Only one sentence remained from the 7 commandments on the barn wall. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That's the end point of the revolution. And the final act. One day, our poor animals got curious and looked in the window of the house. What do you think the view was? The pigs sitting at the table, clinking glasses, and who was there in front of them? People. They looked at the pigs. They looked at the people. But which one was the pig and which one was the human? It was impossible to tell. The same greed, the same arrogance, the same face. And so, the revolution that began with dreams of equality ended in the shadow of a new tyranny. Only the masters changed. The whip remained the same. But we cannot help but ask, does power change us? Or does it bring out the darkness in us? Let's talk about that in the next video. The dark experiment whose results have been talked about for years. The Stanford prison experiment. See you soon, my friends.